Thank you for joining me for another quick hits conversation. I'm Dr. Robyn, aka Mental MacGyver. I provide luxury level high performance support and coaching to executives, founders, celebrities, and athletes. With me today, I have James Lee. He is a financial futurist at StratFi. He has 30 years experience in the financial world and is the author of the book Foresight Investing, a complete guide to finding your next great trade. I have Dr. Cole Galloway. He's a recovering academic working in social justice and disability, primarily with babies, as the founder of Go Baby Go. And I have Todd Karges. He has a background in project management and building agile development mindsets. He is a transformation and change management practitioner and a leadership development coach. The question I have today: when was the last time you did something for the first time? What was it, and what did you learn? Jim, kick us off.
Yeah, so just a little bit of background here. I grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania, and I'm in my 50s now, and I have never traveled abroad by myself before. And you would think that I've done this, and I hadn't done it until last spring. I had a conference in Dubai, very exotic, 14-hour flight, and a bunch of friends to meet there, which was nice. And that was kind of a first time for me. And I'm happy I did it.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I've never traveled abroad alone. Well, I guess I've flown, but always met someone I knew intimately when I got wherever I was going. Oh, I understand that. Awesome. Todd, what about you?
I wish that I could say that I recently learned how to ride a motorcycle or speak a foreign language, but what I'm going to say is meditate. I've recently learned about meditating, and I think what's really interesting about it is how much I'm uncovering, because in the past, I think I would have categorized myself as someone who lives almost exclusively in my head. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that's coming up through that practice and through just sort of being interested in what shows up. So I don't know, maybe that's a little introspective, but that's what I've got. Meditating is something that I'm starting to learn, and it's the latest new thing.
Nice. Cole.
I'm going to be a boring person on this podcast because for a couple of reasons, a couple of years ago, I decided to do new things all the time. Dumb things like many times when I order something I never got before on the menu. That can drive your significant other and family bonkers. A lot of this new stuff can drive people bonkers. I will wear different clothes that I've never worn together before that don't make any damn sense. Bigger things like I'm a part-time actor now after a year, so trying acting, and not just acting but improv, and knowing I fall in love with that. So that was kind of new. And you mentioned the learning. I think I've, in sort of a meta way, I've learned now to seek out the new, and it gets to be like a part-time job to see how little you can stay in ruts. And by the way, it's fabulous, you guys. It's absolutely wild to try to, because it's very mindful, like Todd talked about with sort of mindfulness, your mindfulness of any rut, and I mean anything, how you wear your hair, do you wear underwear to work or not? I think in my family and friend circle, who have always thought of themselves as creative, that's a scary thing.
So this is really cool. And I'm curious, Cole, how changing your schedule regularly and doing new things every day, how has that changed you? How has that transformed you? What has that enabled?
It doesn't make any sense why it would do this. Or maybe it makes tremendous sense to you change agent people. It's lightened my life up. Maybe it's a control thing that I control, that I can do anything at any point. Small things, I can walk different. I can wear socks or no socks. Big things, I can move to Cleveland. I can take early retirement. I can go into business for myself. I can buy James' book and actually try to trade. That doesn't sound like it could be that way, but it's just, it is that way for me at least. It's a lighter life.
Yeah, what comes up for me is that it's the thing that immediately pops in my head is growth mindset. When you can put yourself into that space where you're approaching things as a novice, there's something really delicious about that, like about sort of going in and knowing that you don't know anything and being okay with that.
The thing that I learned recently was that I was completely wrong about what Stoicism is. Stoicism with a big S. I thought it was the lack of emotions, completely flat. You don't let things affect you. And then someone said to me, stoic joy. And I was like, wait, hold on, back up. What? Those things are dichotomous. You can't be stoic and joyful. And they were like, no, you're wrong. And they gave me a book, and I've been listening to the book when I work out. And it's completely twisted my brain about what stoicism is and how you can use it to not let things negatively affect you and better appreciate the good things in your life. And I got to figure out how to implement this stoic joy thing that I didn't even think was a thing.
What's the book?
I knew you were going to ask me that. And of course, I don't know what it is. The name of it actually is, hold on, I will look it up right this very second. I have it right here. A Guide to the Good Life, The Ancient Art of Stoic Joy by William B. Irvine.
Excellent.
Cool.
So that's the name of the book that was recommended to me and actually sent to me. My friend sent me the book and said, read this. So
We've all got something on our reading list now.
Yeah. Hey, James, when you went to, I believe you said Europe solo, I have a sneaky suspicion that that wasn't the only new thing when you got there and did stuff. Did you do anything new there as a solo traveler?
Yeah.
Dubai, right?
It was Dubai. So that was the Middle East, and very spontaneous. So the event was at the Museum of the Futures, which was a must-see. It's the world's largest three-dimensionally printed structure, and it's just gorgeous.
Wow.
And then we just took a day trip to the United Arab Emirates. Yeah, UAE, went across the border to Abu Dhabi and saw the Abu Dhabi Louvre, which was kind of cool. So I'm not that spontaneous, and that was a lot of fun.
How important do you think it is to do new things? Like make it purposeful to do new things.
So I have a phrase that I like to use, and that is that if you want to grow, you got to stretch, and you just got to push yourself a little bit, or else you're just going to get stuck. What's that? Unless you're in a groove. Getting stuck.
That's interesting, because I mean, I've got this weird dichotomy in me where, because I think it's really important to do new things, and for me, it's partly because I get bored easily. But on the flip side of that coin is also that I struggle when I'm not good at something. And right. So being uncomfortable with uncertainty is absolutely part of my personality as well. I guess it's part of a lot of people's personalities. Seeking out newness and wanting to be a novice is about stretching that other muscle. So I'm doing this off camera, you can't see, but yeah, it's two sides of the same coin. I think it's incredibly important. It's been incredibly important for me anyway. The
important part is playing without consequences. And when you're an adult, things that you do can have consequences. And the question is, how can you create that sandbox that it's safe to play around and learn stuff and make mistakes?
Cole, you've done this very purposefully. Why? What was the impetus for doing that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to go from whimsical to like dark. That's the learning that I've gotten from oppressed and marginalized populations as a community organizer in disability community. Because I saw folks being chided, encouraged, cajoled, said they were inspirations and with no backup of resources. And yet some of them with big odds, like James says, there's sometimes creating a playground where there's no odds. What if there's some risks? And I see people every day risking for the most mundane things. And it made me really realize, number one, there's a learning here. I need to place myself in these populations more deeply. Thank you very much for the disability community to allow me to come in. But it's seeing people truly swing for the fences with a lot of risks and just a lot of heroes and a lot of unsung people that are helping a lot of other people, even as they have very little. And so I return to my life and go like, get out there. Are you really? The y-axis gets to be more realistic, and you realize, okay, the newness. If somebody's listening and going, I'm not a new person, go ahead and do that. The newness that you're going to do is an incremental step. It may feel big, but traveling solo Dubai in the big scheme of things, it's like going to college. If you're lucky enough to go to college as a freshman, you're super scared. By the end of the first semester, you're like, why was I scared of this? So I would just encourage people to keep their head up and look around you in your community. There are people that are really risking new things. Hey, help them out and learn from them and be inspired.
I love that.
Well, that is our 10 minutes. So thank you for creating this new conversation with me. and I look forward to speaking to each of you again very soon.